One of the best and most passive ways to generate lots of juicy premium is to put your stocks to work and have them make money for you every single week. Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you guys are enjoying the videos and you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and tap that bell so you know when I post new videos. And if you could give me a thumbs up, it greatly helps the channel grow. I was talking in my Discord with my students about a lot of strategies over the last couple of days. So another topic that comes up a lot with my students is putting your stocks to work. It's something that I've been teaching my students for quite some time. It's something that I learned over the years, that putting your stocks to work and having them generate cash for you consistently is one of the safest ways to generate income. And it's the equivalent of selling cash secured puts in its own way, because you're making safe income. Because even if you get assigned, you are making a profit on the stock, because you're always going to sell your covered calls above the cost of what you paid for the stock. So even if you get assigned, you're taking profits, and you can't go broke taking profits. You sell puts on a certain stock at $11, get assigned, start selling $13 covered calls, the stock jumps to $16, you get assigned at 13, but you only paid 10 or 11, which means you're still making profits. You're making juicy premiums and profits on the stock. Call options give you exactly that. Lots of options. You can sell your covered call, collect juicy premium, and if you're going to get assigned, then you make a profit, plus the premium you collected. But if you don't want the stock to be sold and you want to keep it and not get assigned, then you just roll out and up. And you can just keep doing that. Then if the stock price goes down, you can roll out and down. And once you master the art of rolling, your stocks are going to be put to work and you're going to make a lot of money. And I discuss this with my students all the time. In fact, in one of our portfolios, we have a couple of leap options with Nike and generated over $1,100 on 2 leap options in a month and a half. So if we were to sell those 2 options right now, the long options, and close the short options, we would still be in the green by like $1,000 in 2 months or a month and a half. So this is the safest strategy. And I discuss it with my students all the time. This is something that comes up a lot with my students, not just with covered calls, but that's the video for today. And we discuss this on a consistent basis because I want them to understand how important covered calls are and not letting your stocks just sit in your portfolio and do nothing. If you guys want to be a part of the Discord and my students and a like-minded community that is trying to achieve the same goals that you are, and you want one-on-one coaching with me, then time is running out. The slots are almost full. You guys got to check out my website right here on the screen, investwithcorey.com, or the link is in the information box below. If you want to be a part of the community that I'm talking about right now, my goal is to help my students in any way I possibly can, and they are thriving right now. So if you guys want to join that community, now is the time to do so, as I'm almost completely booked up for June and now July. So only a few slots left, investwithcorey.com. Let's get right back into the video though. Covered calls. I want to show you guys a couple of tricks. I'm going to show you a covered call that I got into that's very deep in the money, how you can correct it. I'll show you another covered call that I got against a leap option, and I will explain how that works. And not only that, I'll show you guys covered calls that are not in the money, and I can just keep rolling endlessly, or I can roll out and up, out and down. The options are endless. I just want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. I'm just here to help you guys out with tips and strategies, understanding the market better, technicals, fundamentals, financials, and how you can make more profits in the stock market. However, it's ultimately up to you to decide which stocks you want to put your money into and how much of a position size you want to have in that stock, as it's your money. For the long position, it cost me $1,280. It's now down to $750 because a firm went down. So anybody who's asking, what do I do if a leap option goes down? Well, $500 in the negative on this leap option. However, I've collected over $780 in short calls. So if I was to buy this short call back for $33 and sell the long call, I'd profit $700 right now. So I'd be out $500 minus all the call options that I have sold. However, if I was to go over to a firm right now, you would see all the short calls: 40, 12, 26, 8, 50, 52, 29, 141, 80, 41, 84, 32, and then another one here for 85. And you can see I purchased for $12.40. So long story short, worst case, even right now, a firm has went down over $5 since I bought the long call. I'm still in the profit, about $200. So to close everything out, if I was to calculate everything right now, I'm just a little over $200 in the profit right now. So even if a leap option goes down, as long as you keep selling covered calls, you can still recoup that money. Firm is very good for that. This is considered an option that's going well because at the end of the week, if a firm's $31 or $32, I will roll out and up a week or two to 34, 35, which means as the stock price goes up, I keep rolling my covered calls out and up. Now, if you're asking what happens to a leap option if the stock price goes up and the leap option's deep in the money, well, you're going to get assigned. And if that happens, what your brokerage is going to do is they're going to assign you on the shares. You're going to get paid the strike price of the short option. So in this case, $31, I get paid $3,100. My account would go into a deficit with a red flag. I would then just exercise my long option for $30. And you could see 31 minus 30, I'd only make $100. So that's what would happen right now if I got assigned. You don't want that to happen. In order for me to get assigned and make a profit, because I've already made $500, I would need at least $1,000 in order to be at $1,500, because that puts me $300 above what the long option originally cost. So if I wanted to be at a decent spot, it would be okay if I was assigned at $40. That's not going to happen until the stock price gets back up to $35 or $37. So if a firm was to go to 32 this week, I would just roll out 3 weeks and up to 34 or 35, and I would just keep rolling out and up until a firm stopped going up and settled. And then I would allow the option to decay worthless, and then I would just start rolling out at the same strike price. Then I could always just buy to close on the short and sell to close on the long position. If I was to do that right now, you could see that firm is $29.31. I could buy to close the short option for $34, and then I could just go ahead and sell to close my long option, which is, I believe, like $700 something. Where is it? $713. So it works the same way. If a firm was to go to $35, that'd be amazing, right? Because the contract price would be $1,100. Now, you might be scared on the short position because if a firm was to go to $35, you'd be in the negative 368, right? Let's say it went to $40. Stock price goes to 40. This option would be $795 in the negative. You have to pay $836 to get closed, like to buy to close it. So $836, which would be $800 more than it is right now. However, the long option, if we were to go to $40, needs to go up by $800 or more to offset the loss of the short position. So we would need $1,522. And it would go up to $1,482. So you can see that even though the short option is going to cost more to close it and you're losing more money on the short, the long's making up for it. So if the stock price was to go to 40, if I close the short position and the long position, I'm still going to make good money because the short position is going to be 800. And if you take 800 off of where the price is going to be right here, 1,500, I'm still going to be close to 700, which is where I'm at now. It's only a difference of $50. So you don't have to panic on the short position. As the short goes more deep in the money, the long option is going to go up. So you just have to have enough money in your brokerage to close your short position so then you can sell the long position and recoup all your money. Here's another call option that I've sold on Palantir. I got a couple of contracts being sold in this account, and you can see Palantir is $21.44, sold $22 calls. I got 40, or actually my average credit was $84. So here's $22 call for the 14th, which is a week and a half out, and I collected $84. It's now worth $46. Price of the stock is still 55 cents below the call option. Here's another Nike call that I have for $96 that I rolled out right to the end of the week during their earnings call. And the reason I did this is because I paid $1,000 or $1,100, I believe. Let me see what I paid for the leap. The leap option, I paid $1,280 and it's currently worth $1,275. So I'm at break even, but I've collected $400 in short calls. So I'm in the profit $400. So I rolled out to a $96 call and collected a big juicy premium. This was like $300. And as long as the stock price stays below 96, we're good. If it goes above 96, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to allow it to assign me because then I only make $600 plus my $500, which is barely break even. So if the stock was to go to $100 at expiration, June 28th, the day after earnings call, if Nike's at 100, that means the intrinsic in the money value, no time value left, would be $4 because the stock price would be 100. The strike of the short option would be 96, so $4 from 96 to 100. This would be worth $400. However, my long option would not be worth $1,255. It would be worth closer to $1,600, making up for the $400 loss in the short call. Watch and see how this works. You see, it went up to $16.43. So if Nike ends at $100, sure, the short option is going to be $400 more in the negative. That's what we'd have to pay to buy to close it. But this option is going to go from $12.50 to $16.50, making back that $400. So I got to collect that $300 juicy premium, and no matter what happens, I just going to have to close the option. That's what's going to end up having to happen. Or I can roll out 2 months and up, which I won't want to do because I've already made $400. So even if that was to happen, I'm going to close out with around a $440 profit in about 2.5 months on 1,000. That's a 50% return in 3 months. That's why selling covered calls is so important to understand, because it's very powerful at juicy premium. I can't lose on this stock. Let's say it goes to 105. This goes up to $2,000. The long call goes up to 2,000, which is 800 more than it's at now. And the short option will go up from 247 to 984. So it's going to go up 500 and something dollars, $600. So no matter how you look at it, no matter where Nike goes, if I buy to close the short option, no matter how expensive it is, I can sell to close the long option, which will offset it. I'm still going to get my $1,200 back for the leap, plus all the calls I sold as profit. I'm still in the profit 400. Once I'm 400 to 500 in profit in a month or two on one single leap option, then I just start getting aggressive with it, because it doesn't matter where the short call goes. If it goes up, puts the short call in the money, the long call is going to make up for it. You see how this works? This is a crazy powerful strategy, because once you're in the profit, you're good no matter what. As long as your short option is a few dollars above your long option, doesn't matter. The long option is going to offset the short option. The only downside is if you get too deep in the money, you got to sell to close your long option and buy to close your short option. Well, you have to buy to close the short option first. But the only downside is if you haven't made any profit, or you've only made $30 or $40, you're pretty much going to have to close it with a $40 profit. So this way you're still making money, but it's always better to be in that position when you've made a lot of money like I have. When I've made a 50% return in a month and a half, I don't care what happens now. Now I'm going to sell closer to in the money calls to make more juicy premium. Now I'm just waiting for it to go deep in the money. And when that happens, it won't matter. I'll just, buy to close a short option, sell to close a long option. They're going to offset each other. So all the premium you're collecting, once you've made good money, you start getting aggressive with the premium. Only $5 away in the strike, only $4 away, doesn't matter. If your long option, say, is 90, sell 93 over and over to make aggressive premium. Even if the stock is 92.50, sell close to it at 93, because you're already 400 in the profit, or 300 in the profit, or whatever amount of profit you have. You're just collecting that aggressive, high, juicy premium, and you're waiting for the stock price to go deep in the money, say 94, 95. And once that happens, you just buy to close it, sell to close the long option. Once you've made several $100s, which is usually 20 to 30%, then you sell aggressive calls. Make sure, though, that your short option you're selling is at least $2 to $3 above the long option. So no matter what happens, the long option covers the short option's value, as long as you have enough money in your brokerage account to cover it. So if you're asking me what happens if you have a covered call that is deep in the money and you don't want to lose your shares, and we're not talking about a short option and a long option on a leap anymore, we're talking about this on a bunch of shares, like 100, 200 shares or whatever. So if you guys want to do this on shares, it's a little bit different. With a leap option, if your leap option costs $1,000 and it's $90 long call, and you sell a 92 and get assigned on the short of 92, you're only making 200 profit. You lose the 800 you paid. Whereas stocks, actual shares, if you paid $10 a share for 100 shares, $1,000, and you sell a covered call for $12, you get assigned, you lose your shares, but you're still up $200. You're not losing any money. You never go broke taking profits. So when Robinhood was $16, I sold a $17 call. Robinhood went to $20, put my $17 call deep in the money. What I did is I utilized a special strategy that I perfected of using time value to prevent assignment. When I rolled from 17 to 17.50 and out 6 weeks, I had over $60 extrinsic value of time value. Nobody's going to exercise a call option, which will assign you as a seller, if there's $60 or even $40 of extrinsic value, because they could just sell their call option and then buy the shares. They would be up $40. Why would someone spend $40 more just to assign someone or just to exercise that option? Makes no sense unless there's a dividend. If the dividend is $45 on a dividend stock and they can exercise their call option and only lose 20, but they're getting 45 from the dividend on a dividend stock, that's when you'll see it. Otherwise, you won't. Now, in this specific example, my $17.50 call is worth $3.42, but I am about $4 in the money. If I go to simulate returns, you'll see that this call option is only going to decay not very much. Like, we're talking about 3 weeks out, and and it's only going to decay about $7. So you figure I'm going to have to, like, sometime this week, I'm going to have to roll this option. Otherwise, I could get assigned at $17.50. I only paid $16 for the shares. So right now I stand to make $300 plus the covered calls. So this is going to still set me up for a $400 profit. But if you want to save your shares, this is what you're going to do. When you simulate the return, I will wait 409 versus $4, only $9. It's really tricky. This week, by Friday, it's going to lose about another $1 or $2. I'll try to make it to the 14th because then I'll $3 or $4 more I can decay. But if I want to be safe and roll now, we'll just click on roll. We're going to go out to July 19th, which is 3 extra weeks. If I was to roll out to July 19th, you can see I'd collect a credit of $138 and I would go up to $18. So now, even if I get assigned and I don't want to lose my shares, I'm going to make $50 per 100 shares more and I have 200 shares. So instead of getting assigned at $17.50 right now, I'm going to collect $130 more and get assigned making $50 more per 100 shares. And since I have 200 shares, it's $100 more. So if I roll right now, worst case, I make $230 to $240 more. This is how we cover our butts when we want to use time decay. Once we get closer to July 4th weekend, I'll be able to roll out and up to $19, collecting another $50 to $100. Therefore, if I get assigned now, I'm at $19. If I do this for the next 6 months, by Christmas time, I'll be up around 22 or 23 and I get to keep my shares. Sure, it takes time, but I'm making money along the way. By the time Christmas time rolls around, I'll be $1,000 to $1,200 in covered calls. And if I get assigned at $2,200, I've made $1,200 in the shares, $600 per 100 shares. So at that point, I've made over $2,500 in 7 months on 3,000. I've almost doubled my money in 7 months. This is very powerful. I might actually roll this right now because if I go to $19, I will have a little bit of a debit, but it puts me up a lot. I want to collect more credit. So let's go up to $18. We're going to do this in the live trade. I'm going to do this at 135, 136. We're going to collect credit, submit. We should get filled on this because we saw it at $1.30 already. We're not going to be able to roll this now. Let's see if we get into this. It may not happen. It looks like the difference is 296 to 440. The mark is 368, and the mark is 425, which is only about $60 per contract. So we might have to go 100, probably all we're going to get depending on the spread, which is fine. So I'll have to go back and edit that. Let's go ahead and roll this out. We're going to roll it to an 18 for July 19th. See 64. We might be able to get 415 for this. And this is going to be right around maybe like 375 if we're lucky. We should be able to get like 125 maybe. I'm actually waiting to get filled on that call order, but we're going to see here. I was trying to show it to you guys, but it might take a while, but I'm going to let this sit because I know I can probably get about $80 to $100 per contract, collect another $160 to $200 juicy premium. And now by the time next month rolls around, I went from $17 to $18 in about 9 to 10 weeks, and I've collected about $300 juicy premium and profit in between. So now if I get assigned, I'm getting assigned at $1 more per share than I originally had on my $17 call. So now I stand to make $400 additional plus the additional $300 juicy premium or $250 juicy premium. So really I'm up $450 just by being patient and waiting 2 months. Then I wait another 2 months. I'm going to end up around $18.50 or $19 collecting more juicy premium because nobody's going to sign a non-dividend stock and lose $50 to $70 extrinsic time value. You're using time value to generate more profits and to delay or stop the assignment. Thanks so much guys for being here. I really appreciate you. If you guys want to be a part of my Discord and get one-on-one coaching from me, limited slots remain. There's so many strategies that I have, so many more than these that are very powerful. If you guys are interested in becoming a part of the community with like-minded people who are going through the same thing you are to learn and live a better life and become profitable and retire early, or just to make side income to help offset, different costs in your life. If you guys are interested in becoming a part of my private community and Discord and one-on-one coaching, you guys can do so at any time at investwithcorey.com. Be sure to subscribe and tap the bell and give me a thumbs up. We'll see you guys on the next video. I sincerely appreciate you guys so much so that I picked you another video that you're going to love. How to make money and get paid. That's right. Get paid to buy your favorite stocks. And that video is right here. Click that video. You guys are going to love it. Learn how you can get paid to buy your favorite stocks and enter your favorite stocks at a discount by selling puts. You're going to love that video. It's right there. Take care, guys. Let's grow our wealth together.